Hello everybody, it is Jay here, and today I am going to be talking about the reasons why I'm leaving the Trans Teen Survival Guide blog on Tumblr. I didn't think I would ever make this video. I didn't think that I would make it at this point. But over, I would say, the last 6 months or so, even though I've been a mod on this blog for 2.5 years, things have arisen that I cannot ignore, and I don't want to ignore, and so I'm leaving. This isn't an attack on TTSG. The blog helps people, and that is amazing, but it's not a good place for me. It hasn't had a positive effect on me. It did have a positive effect on me when I first started getting involved. However, over the last 2.5 years, that positive effect is now worn off, and I have to move on, and I know that I do. This is not an attack. I'm being honest and I'm being transparent about why I'm leaving. Because people will always want to know. When other mods have left the blog, people have wanted to know as well why they were leaving. And I'm being honest about why I'm leaving. Because I think it's important. It's also allowing me to put my opinion out there, let it go and move on. And stop harboring any negative feelings about the blog. As I said, these are my own opinions, and what I say here should not in any way colour your opinion of the Trans Teen Survival Guide. This is only my personal experience with the blog, my personal experience with the mods who, might I add, I only know through this blog. I have never met a single one of these other mods in real life. I've met some friends of some of the mods, but I've never met any other mods in real life, and the Trans Teen Survival Guide is all I know about them. So one of the biggest reasons I have for leaving is clashing with other mods. This is not all of the mods, this is some of the mods. I felt like I couldn't express a differing opinion without being attacked, no matter how harmless my opinion was. If I expressed an opinion about not understanding something, that was seen as a harmful opinion, even when all I was saying was, I don't understand it, I'll make every effort to respect you, but I don't understand it. I felt like I couldn't question or challenge choices that were made without generating conflict. Things where I simply wanted to have a civil discussion about a decision or change that had been made turned into arguments. And I firmly believe that that was not my fault. And I firmly feel like I was blamed for some of these arguments as though they were. I've made every effort to respect all of the other mods on TTSG, but I definitely feel like some mods do not make the effort to respect others. Some of the decisions that were made on the blog felt rushed to me. They seemed to be unwise or unfair, and most of all I felt like even if I disagreed with the choice, it wouldn't make any difference, and it didn't matter to some of the other mods whether I agreed or disagreed. It seemed very much to me like one person had all power in TTSG, and that it didn't matter what other people did or said. I felt like there was a lot of undermining from older mods. By older mods, I don't mean mods who have been there longer, I mean mods that are older in age. Even though I've been a mod for about 2.5 years, I felt like I was undermined because I am 16. I am on the younger end of the mods. If I recall correctly, only one mod is younger than me. I felt like I was undermined because of my age, but also that simultaneously my age wasn't taken into account in some situations. And that like the oldest person on the blog is in their 20s and I am 16, and I feel like that was sometimes ignored. I was undermined because I'm 16, but it was also ignored that I am 16 and that I am still a child and that I'm not an adult. I'm not like self-sufficient. Like, I still live at home. My mother still does my laundry. I felt like some of the older mods also undermined newer mods. And I felt like that was more than a bit unfair. Especially since the newer mods, they were hired for a reason and they were all very good and they're all good people. Yet I felt like, to a degree, some of the older mods were not letting the newer mods do their job that we had hired them for. I firmly believe that there is too many mods, and that's like definitely an aside, and that's not the fault of newer mods. That's mostly on the older mods' heads, myself included in that regard, because I didn't at the time say that's too many people. But too many chefs will spoil the broth and all that kind of shit, and it doesn't matter how good all of our mods are. There's so many that it's hard to communicate, it's hard to stay on the same page, and it's hard to work together cohesively when there's so many people and so many different time zones as well. Like, I found that the majority of the time when other people on the blog were up and awake and talking and making decisions, I was in bed. And that's no one's fault, but it's hard to be cohesive in that situation. I firmly believe that there have been unfair standards implemented on the blog, as well as double standards. Sometimes, one example that I can think of, without naming any names, because I don't want anyone to feel like I'm specifically targeting them in this video. I don't want people to feel like they've been named and shamed. One of the one mod expressed how they had muted the group chat for whatever reason. We have more than one group chat. They muted the group chats for whatever reason, and that was fine. And then when another mod expressed the same thing, that they had muted the group chat for whatever reason, it was as though this person had committed a crime. And I felt like that was a whole double standard, and definitely unfair. Contradictory rules were also a bit of a problem, in my opinion. Rules that were like, oh, you have to be really active, but not too active. And like, oh, you have to be really, 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 really active, and I want you to not post any less than you're doing right now, but don't post more than this amount of times. And I felt like that was very contradictory. I feel like this is a sad video to make, even though I know that I'm making the right choice for myself. But since I'm leaving the TTSG, I am going to try putting more effort into YouTube and more effort into the Trans Ireland blog on Tumblr. I feel like both of those avenues afford me more freedom and more control over the situation. I definitely felt like with TTSG I had no freedom to express my own opinion and to suggest and pursue things that I felt would be interesting. Whereas with my own YouTube channel, I am in charge, and with the Trans Ireland blog, I am in a group of people that I'm friends with in real life, that I know in real life, that I'm close to, and that I know will be okay with me disagreeing with them. Yeah, I think that's the end of that. Thank you.